So yeah, I guess one last question about kind of this question about art and design, but like, what do you think the difference is? I mean, I kind of have my ideas as far as like a pure visual art, like from a expression of yours, as a designer, right? Like, I mean, obviously, when you're designing, you're working for someone else. Do you have any thoughts on those kind of the difference between like art and design? I would say.
I honestly, I don't think they're as different as people would like to say
Yeah.
they are. I think the only, I mean, there's not a lot of difference per se in having someone come and do an illustration for me or having me do an illustration for a
Mm-hmm.
publication
Yeah.
or, coming and giving me a commission to do of a
Mm-hmm.
portrait or a piece of art.
Yeah.
They're very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, I mean, sometimes with either one of those, it could be you could have a client come to you and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
uh, you know, here's some parameters,
Mm-hmm.
and then just do what you want."
Yeah.
You know,
And then you're putting yourself into
sometimes
that.
there's that, and then there's other times where they want a lot more
Mm-hmm.
control.
Very specific.
Yeah, and are more specific.
Yeah.
So, and then, and I guess the only difference between that is if you're getting a commission, people are coming to you for your style.
Yeah.
It's not always that case with illustration. Sometimes it can be, I want to illustrate it in this style.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I don't see a huge difference.
Okay.
I think the biggest difference is, at least between my art and my graphic design,
Mm-hmm.
is I'm usually telling my stories
Yeah.
instead of telling their
Okay.
stories.
So it's all about like the telling the story instead of necessarily expressing something from within you. I mean, you can.
Well, you still can do
Yeah.
that because I think that the important thing for good design
Mm-hmm.
and good art, I mean, really is authenticity.
Right. Yeah.
And when I look back at, and when I even, there's a difference between like doing some work for someone, it's always, or doing graphic design for someone, you're
Mm-hmm.
not always sure. You don't always get feedback at
Yeah.
how well it did for them. You know what I mean?
Right.
But when you're selling your art, you can tell.
Mm.
And the art that are the most authentic is what sells of mine.
Yeah.
It sells
Yeah.
more. And I think that when I first started selling my art, I was just trying to make cool art
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't telling stories.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even matter if people don't know the stories. I know the stories. And when I'm telling the stories, it's just better art.
It just something comes through. I think people can kind of see,
Yeah,
like the attention to detail or something. In
well,
there.
I think that people, even if they don't always know why,
You're right.
I think there's more connection
They
to
can
it.
kind of feel it or something.
Because it really is about, I mean, I think it's about connection. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
People connect with art, and we love art, and we even love graphic design. That's why we get upset when a logo that we
Right.
really love changes.
Like the Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, well, I mean,
big-
I remember when the Thunder logo came out,
Yeah.
and I'm friends with the guy who designed it, and his name's John Minson, and he just retired this year from Ackerman McQueen, and there was this big uproar. But nobody remembers that now. They're all wearing it. They're the champs, and everybody's wearing it. They've been wearing the logo. Nobody cares.
That's something that similarly, there's something about one of the worst things I hate about being in a band is coming up with a name. And like, and I think it's funny because, I mean, in a similar way, it's like you might come up with a name. I mean, there's some really dumb band names. I mean, famous bands. I always think of like the Smashing Pumpkins. That's like a terrible name. I think it's just a weird, dumb name. But it's like, but then whenever you attach an identity or the music to that name kind of takes on a different meaning, So it's not just words anymore. It's this whole identity of its group. Yeah. So it's funny that they just brought that to mind. That I mean, you have like even the name. I remember whenever the name Thunder. I don't think I really liked the name originally.
Yeah.
But when I first heard it, but of course, I honestly think it's a badass name though, Thunder. It's it's really cool
for sure.
But anyways, but yeah, there's something about one thing. The last thing I wanted to say on that was I remember thinking about this as design and art, and going back to that conversation real quick. But like the differences I always thought of was design. Usually, all design has something to say, like a specific message of some kind. Like if it's a poster for a concert, it's like, go to this concert. Here's the information. This is why that art exists as a design. Whereas like a visual art or painting doesn't necessarily, I mean, it can have a message, but doesn't necessarily need to have a message. Whereas design all design kind of has something it's trying to say.
Well, it's more utilitarian.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there's some
purpose.
Yeah, there's a purpose to it. But even in that, I mean, your goal as a designer, as a graphic designer, is to move the eye through whatever it is that you're doing, whatever you're trying to communicate. And I don't think there's any difference when it comes to trying to tell stories in fine art either.
That's something that, whenever you said that about telling a story, that really changed, or I'll have to think about that a lot more, because I never really, I mean, obviously I know that all humans, we're all storytellers. That's what we do. I mean, even if you don't do any art or anything or create anything, you're still telling a story to yourself every day you wake up.
Yeah.
So it's like that's how we survive the world. So that's a very, very human thing. But so I think about that a lot. But I never really thought about like a good art or like a visual art as like every piece being like a story. Like that's what makes it good. I don't know.
Well, I think
it's fascinating.
I think there are stories behind them, and there's even stories that. There are stories that can be obvious, and there are stories that can be subtle, or there are stories that are hidden.
Right.
Plus, when people connect with art, they tell their own stories about art.
Yeah.
And those stories are them relating to the art in some way, And I find that a lot with the cat art that I do now, where people just they relate to, because cats are mysterious creatures, and people who love cats and have cats, there's who the cat is, and then there's the cat lore that we all bring because they are so mysterious.
Right.
And this is, I think we do it for dogs too, but not nearly to the capacity that we do for cats.
I think humans feel like they understand dogs better than cats generally. So it's like cats are like almost like you can make up a story or put, they're like a blank canvas of something you can put onto them a little bit more.
Well, yeah, because they're more mysterious.
Right, because it is almost an empty kind of canvas or something, I had to say.
Well, they're more like people.
Yeah.
Because, dogs, of course, dogs have great personalities. And I have a dog that I'm, is my best friend, and we're pretty tight. We're really, really tight.
Yeah.
Her name's Belle, and, but she's also more agreeable, and but then I have but cats are not. Cats are more like humans.
Yeah, they kind of
they're all different.
They have their own prerogative or whatever.
You have to earn their trust.
Yeah,
you can lose it and have to earn it back.
Dogs are easy.
Dogs are loyal.
Yeah, they kind of once you have them, they're yours for life.
Yeah, and
bond.
Cats are like cats are not that way.
Yeah.
They're more like people, and they also teach consent. You can't just go up and pet a cat.
Right. You have to kind of.
You have to go up, kind of feel the situation out, talk to the cat, watch their you got to get to know how cats' tails move and how their ears look, so you don't get.
Kind of read those signs.
The murder mittens. You know what I mean?
For sure. That's fascinating.
And so anyway.